What is going on? Welcome to Ed News Now. My name is EJ Carrion, and today we're going to talk about the future of homeschooling. Is homeschooling here to stay? Is this just a fad because the 12 and under population does not have a vaccine, so parents prefer their kids to stay virtual? We're going to look through a couple different articles around homeschooling that I think are important, and the data that they share really hits where we're at with school. Now, I'm super passionate about public education, and I think public education has an important value system to how we build a global collective society that understands one another and the actions that we all take and the impact they have on other people. And so as we navigate this, we're going through a time where in March 2020, 55 million students went virtual, had to do homeschooling regardless. Now, today, schools have started back, and we have to decide, are we going to meet this moment? The American Rescue Plan was an investment in our school system that is once in a lifetime to meet the moment as COVID showed us where we have to get to in order to create the future of school. You're seeing that parents are wanting more out of our public education system to be more flexible, more comprehensive and unique when it comes to teaching their kids the importance of different backgrounds and curriculum. You're also seeing the need as the future of work changes, right? Schools follow the future of work. In the past, right, we needed factory workers and schools felt like factories. Today, the future of work is knowledge-based workers who can work from their laptop, who can work from home, and have control of their work schedule. If you look at Salesforce, Facebook, Google, they are allowing their employees to work from home. So digital natives is what we need. And how do we as public education bridge a gap to provide a safe ecosystem in person, but understanding that we have to have a digital model of what we do and bridge the gap. Because if we don't, homeschooling could be here to stay. And so I'm passionate about the importance of this and this topic. So let's dive into it. So the first thing here to note is that we're going to dive in. We're going to look at this article really quickly. I'm going to kind of move up here and show that Yahoo News showed that more than 11% of U.S. households are homeschooling. If you kind of dive here, more than 11% of households in the United States are homeschooling rather than send their children to public or private institutions, according to census data. Around 2.6 million students have switched from traditional schooling to home learning since the pandemic began, according to a new report from Bellwether Education Partners Commission by the Walton Family Foundation. What I want to kind of dive here and also hit here is that this is not just something happening among traditionally what we thought homeschooling was people who were very involved, evangelical Christians who wanted to control their kids' learning or hippies who were traveling in a van. This is now happening for all people, all backgrounds, rural, metro, and we're going to see that as we go through some different data points. But you're also seeing it from race. And the article in the Washington Post talks about this is not just about the pandemic, right? We also went through a social awakening, right? A social justice awakening, a racial awakening from George Floyd. So if you look at this data here, what it's saying is that between 2019 and May 2021, there was an 1% to 8% jump for Black students doing homeschooling. That's six-fold increase. Among Hispanic students, it was 2% to 9%. And white families, 4% to 8%. And Asian families, 1% to 5%. Let's even go to the impact of this from a school district, right? I don't know what your school districts are telling you. I don't know if enrollment is good. People are saying, hey, enrollment is higher than ever. Enrollment is down. But there are some school districts that are losing kids to homeschooling. 10% of students at Jupiter Farms Elementary School has lost their kids due to homeschooling. So that's interesting, right? That's like an important conversation to have. And it's all different for different people. This article kind of says that in the county of where Jupiter Elementary School is, 5,500 students who unenrolled, only 38% chose homeschooling. So private and charter were still the main reason why kids left their district. But to me, that's still a high number. Here's where it gets interesting, right? This is an article out of the Alaska Public Media, and the pandemic forced these families to try new education formats. Now they want to stick with it. Check out this statistic, this data point. Alaska had the largest increase in homeschool enrollment from 9.6% of households to 27.5% during the collection period of when this article was written. That is kind of mind-blowing. 1 of every 4 kids in a state in America chose homeschooling. We have to be able to think of school differently. COVID showed us the future. Parents are demanding flexibility. As more and more millennials have kids in school, you're definitely going to see that flexibility. You know, what you saw with WeWork and office space, you're going to see with schools in the spaces that we create for students. Flexibility, asynchronous, being able to still have the community and the support of a community that public education provides, but also the flexibility. 1 of every 5 school district is creating virtual academies. We want to meet the moment. We have lifetime investment in education happening now. And unfortunately, politics is making everything we talk about mask, and we're not talking about this information, right? Now, we looked at one of our smallest states from population. Let's look at their biggest state in population. Homeschool applications in California nearly tripled from pre-pandemic numbers, right? And we also saw LA Unified School District doing a full district-wide requirement for students to get the vaccine, which is an amazing feat and an amazing accomplishment. But as someone who lives in Texas and how I know that is, you know, I already have family members and friends complaining about their companies going statewide vaccines. I can't imagine what this impact is going to do with these numbers. Even if, you know, regardless, like myself, who's pro the vaccine, the impact this is going to have on student learning and families wanting to maybe send their kids to homeschooling. As an education entrepreneur, I see school as a business, and I'm not ignorant to the business side of school and what happens. And my fear, though, is if you do equity work and if you do public education, we like to think that what we do is not being cannot be defeated or cannot be pressed, and we are competing against the freedom and the power of people, the individual power to create learning environments for their kids. So we have to, if we're going to meet future families and create schools, we have to understand why homeschooling. We have to understand why the flexibility, why the uniqueness in curriculum, and really set up these functions. It's so important and it's vital to the future of how we do school. I'm going to have these articles in the description of this YouTube video. I would love to know how you think homeschool fits. Is homeschooling the future? Is how does public education create virtual schooling so that kids can stay involved in public education? The importance of extracurriculars and sports and things like that. How does this work for you? This is an exciting time. I'm excited. I share this data and I share this YouTube channel because as an education entrepreneur, this is what I'm passionate about, is how do you build equitable tech so that public education can meet the moment for school and for families and the future of being a global competitive country that continues to create amazing entrepreneurs, innovation, opportunity, and jobs so this country can be a great place to live for all people. So let's make it happen. I'm excited that if you're here, you stayed this long. Kudos to you. This is for you. Thank you so much for watching Ed News Now.